And you have the burden of deciding what you should be doing, because your personality is going to dictate that. I can't make you, as much as I show example after example, I can't make you grow comfortable with intraday trading if it's completely against who you are as a person. If it's too fast paced, and it is for some of you. And some of you are going to try to wrestle that and try to overcome that, when the real focus point should be learning how to read price action on the lower time frame examples in the lectures I'm going to give you, and just simply take that same mindset and apply it to a higher time frame chart, because it's the same thing. The same elements of what I'm going to show you in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 minute charts. The lowest time frames that technical analysis and in this industry would scoff at and say it's noise, I'm going to demystify all that. I'm going to show you how to read all that real time, and you're going to grow more comfortable with trusting your positions once you know what you're looking for, and how to just relax and let the market do what it's designed to do. So that way you're not wrestling internally thinking, I don't know what the next few candles are going to do and I'm scared. Versus, this is what it should do, and I want to sit here and watch, and does it continuously give me the feedback I'm looking for to trust the outcome to be favorable for me? There's a total different perspective. There's a paradigm shift that takes place, and it's only going to be seen and observed over the chart. See, I'm giving you a test drive with the tweets because that's one way of also showing that it's not delayed in data. It's not cherry picked. Well, I guess it is cherry picking, isn't it? You know, I'm picking the winners, right? But you're going to learn this year how to do this independent from me. But you're going to have to show up, and you're going to have to decide what house you're going to live in as a trader. What's the style? What's the structure? Are you going to be a day trader? Okay. Are you going to day trade the full daily range? Is that going to be your model? Trying to get near the low on a bullish day and hold for a majority of the daily range? Or are you going to break that up into 2 sessions and say, okay, my work schedule, my life commitments, my sleep schedule dictates that I can't trade the New York session, Michael. So what should I do in that essence? Well, I think that you should probably trade London. There's moves that take place overnight between 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning. There's setups just like when I teach in forex. Just because I'm not hammering that in the 2022 content and thus far this year, don't think for a moment that you cannot trade the same London kill zone that I teach with forex. That same thing exists in futures. Overnight session is overnight session. When those individuals over in London, in Europe, when they wake up, the market's not trading because it hasn't happened here in the US because we're still sleeping maybe. No, it's working. It's rolling. It just means that when I'm teaching you the New York session, we have the benefit, the advantage, and plus I'm really liking the fact that I don't have to stay up at night. I'm getting old, so the whole point is you want to have every advantage in your favor, and New York session has that because you have already the hardest part of the day behind you, which is in Europe and London. What they do overnight that establishes a lot of things, and we'll talk about that. I'll talk about it a little bit more in this presentation as well. But don't think for a moment that I'm trapping you and painting you into a corner that you can only trade during the New York session. You don't have just that limitation. You can trade in the afternoon session between 1:30 and 4 o'clock. You can strip it down even further if you're an intraday trader and you're comfortable with making these types of ideas and opinions and studying the charts with that mindset. You can strip it down to the last hour of trading, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and that's your entire career. Just a handful of them, or maybe even one per week. I have housewives all over the United States that are students of mine now. And they have reported, obviously, staying home moms, they get ridiculed a lot, from men. They say, oh, well, you don't do anything, woman. You're just going to tell the kids what they got to do, mind the home. When I come home, make sure my dinner's on the table, clean the house, and everything will be fine. Like they don't have a responsibility, like they don't have things demanding their attention. It's not like it used to be where women can just sit around and watch soap operas. The world is constantly moving. And to run a home today with children demands a lot of energy, a lot of time. And they still, just because they're home and you're the breadwinner, gentlemen, you're out there collecting the money. Don't think for a second, if they're doing what they're doing as a student here learning, that they have all the advantages of extra time, because they don't. Children have to be maintained. The home has to be maintained. They have their own personal things that they want to do, as they should. So everybody's competing with time and how to make this fit in their personal lives. And you need to find that. You have to pick the structure of your home as a trader, because you're going to live in it. I am around homes that some of them are actually way larger than the home I'm in now. Some of them are actually much nicer than the home I'm living in right now. And I don't mind it. I don't look at their home, just like you shouldn't look at someone else's trading pattern or model or results and say, I wish I slept in that room of that house. I wish I could park my car in that garage. I wish I could drive that car that he has in his garage. See, by doing all those things, that shows discomfort in what you're doing. I never look at someone else online, whether it be their results, whether they're doing some live streaming, or whether they have won a competition, whether they've done really well on a leaderboard, whether they've done statements, or I've never looked at someone else and said, wow, I feel like I'm not significant enough. And you shouldn't do that either. Because what that's indicating is, number one, it's a character flaw. And many of you are going to bring that into this trading endeavor. And it's going to cause you to not want to stay with the things I'm going to show you that will lead to consistency and continuity and eventual profitability if you submit to it. But if you quit, or if you're distracted easily by, this is something that's going on over here, so this person did something that may or may not be valid as the reason why the market went higher or lower. But because they've taken a transaction, they've put on risk, and they show the champion trophy of their win. You don't know how many trades they've taken before that one. You don't know if they've been correct, but that's the one you're going to see, and you're going to be convinced that that's enough of a distraction to stop what you're doing here and go chase that. And I have lots of students have done that over the years, even when I was teaching on America Online back in the 90s. So you have to wrestle and guard your mind. If you're here, commit to the full year. Don't come in casually and think, well, it didn't really teach me how to make money, in the first 3 sessions, and I'm just going to pack it in. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for you. You didn't put the work in. So that's why you don't have a excuse if you are going to come in on a part-time basis here. You have to be 100% committed. I'm going to give you my full year. What are you going to bring to the table? Are you committed? Are you going to, really put conviction behind the things that you're doing while you're training with me this year? Because if you don't, you're not going to get the results you're looking for. And you won't hit the mark that I'm guaranteeing you. By the end of this year, you will be able to read price better than anybody else is going to be able to teach you. That is not me saying that you're getting rich. That's not me saying that you're going to make money every single day. I am promising you that there is nobody out there teaching. Zero. Absolutely zero. There's no one teaching you what I'm going to teach you this year. You're going to see it. You're going to test drive it. You're going to be built up in your confidence, but not to be overconfident, not to be arrogant. I don't want you as my community, as my student base, to go around with pitchforks and torches and tormenting other people because you are learning something that is different. Obviously, it's trailblazing, but it's the real market. And it's empowering, yes, but I'm not empowering you to be trolls. So also be respectful of other people, because a lot of other people out there are making money and they're not doing anything that I'm teaching. They've mastered themselves. They're comfortable in the house they live in. That's the house they built for trading. They don't care what their neighbors are sleeping in and driving and how they park their cars in their garage. They have something that they're comfortable with. They're not trying to keep up with the Huddlestons. The expression is trying to keep up with the Joneses. There's a lot of people out there. They know me, but they're not influenced by me. They care less what I'm doing, what I'm not doing. If I make money, if I don't make money. They're making money. They're minding their business. I have a lot of respect for those types of people. When I see that, I push them, I promote them, because they're proving to the industry that they're profitable. They sit out there, they do it in front of people, and they're respectful. They have nothing really to say bad about anyone, and they're having a good time. And that's what I tried to do the other day with Patrick. And unfortunately, some of you, may or may not, I'm not convinced that all of you are students that were doing that, but you don't want to distract yourself. So keep the focus on what it is that I'm teaching, and that way your mindset is not being dragged to a different direction. So much like a home, when you sit down with an architect, the architect will say, hey, what type of things do you want in your home? Or what type of things do you want in your trading? Do you want to be able to pyramid positions? Or do you want to just do one and done? Get in and maybe take partials along the way. Okay, that's an amenity. You're asking me to show you how we can build your house in trading that you're aesthetically pleased looking at it outwardly. I want to be a day trader, Michael. Okay, let's sit down and let's work it out. How do you want to trade? What's your model going to be? You have to bring that to me. You have to put that to paper. You can't let me or anyone else dictate how you're going to trade, because I and no one else can take you and press you into satisfaction about being in a home or a model of trading that you really don't like. If you're not comfortable in it, it doesn't matter how many other people are trading it, making money. If you can't be comfortable in it and live in it, then it's useless to you. And if it's a source of agitation and frustration because it's not really what you wanted, you won't pour everything into it. Like when you have a home that you love, you'll pour more money into it. You'll invest in a new paint job, keeping up with maybe a new carpet every couple of years. And if the wallet allows for it, maybe in an addition, a swimming pool, something else. All those things are factors that come with you being satisfied with what you're putting your work behind. You love the home you're in. That's what you have to be as a trader. You have to love the home that you're in as a trader. You're not influenced. You're not going to be influenced or feeling like you don't have enough. You got to be the king of your castle. Mind your own business and be the king of your own castle. But what castle are you going to live in as a trader? You have to know what those things are. And unfortunately, it's a source of frustration for new students and new traders because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know where your strengths are, and you don't know where your weaknesses are. That's what makes this industry hard, because 90% of this is you wrestling with yourself. Because the charts are going to go up or they're going to go down. And if they're not doing either one of them, they're going sideways. And that's a simple thing to measure probabilities. Is it likely to go higher or lower? Or, based on the economic calendar, when's it likely not to do much at all and go sideways? So you have three decisions there. But those three decisions are going to push you, if you have a weak-minded perspective on risk, it's going to make you impulsive, and you're going to chase moves and do things that are going to be outside of a model. So you have to know what you're asking of me as a mentor and what you're placing demands on yourself to follow. I've had so many students over the years come to me and say, Michael, I want to be a scalper. Okay. Why? And they can't tell me. Because I want to make money fast. And I'm afraid to lose money. So I know getting in and getting out, I have less risk of losing that way. No, you don't. That's not true. Okay. If you think that it's less risk day trading than any other style trading, that is too myopic of a view. You absolutely must understand and accept the fact that As soon as you enter the marketplace, as soon as you enter that market, whatever market it is, based on whatever time frame, whatever methodology, whether it be mine or someone else's, you have relinquished control over your finances to the outcome that you have no control over. Think about that, because I have continuously harped on that. And a lot of you tend to have selective hearing, and you don't want to hear that. You think there's a secret advantage, and there's an order block, there's a fair value gap that's going to help me, minimize that type of thing. No, risk is always there, always, and you have to be comfortable with that uncertainty, because it will visit you. Drawdown will come home and visit you, and how long you let it stay in your home is up to you. How much time being uncomfortable are you willing to absorb? That's also a factor when building a model. Because if you're going to be a long-term position trader, for folks that are listening, when you have periods of drawdown, you have to be comfortable living in that for a longer time, because long-term position trades, they don't happen every day. They don't happen every week. So that's another advantage to me, because I would not be comfortable holding a period of drawdown for weeks and months. I can't tolerate that. It's an intolerable experience for me. I can't personally endure that. That doesn't mean that you couldn't, but that's a factor that unfortunately most books and teachers don't really address, and they're paramount for someone that's just becoming interested in doing this. Because first of all, you need to be commended, because number one, you don't have all your marbles if you want to do this anyway. You're not on the list of folks that have reasonable risk tolerance. You're willing to assume more risk, even though you don't want to lose. You're willing to face that. But unfortunately, the first time you get out there and you lose, that tells you who you really are. And that many times separates you from this industry. And if it happens to you, unfortunate as a trader, yes, but fortunate that you have learned your lesson early and you don't pour yourself into it and lose more money when you know it may not be something that you can do. And there's no shame in that. There's people out there that can help you if you can't execute. There's people that can manage your funds for you, but you have to be demanding of them. Show proof. How are you going to risk? How do you manage risk? But I'm pouring everything into this year, and you have to show up every day. And I will build your house with you, but you have to bring those expectations that are reasonable to me. You can't expect a mansion from a rancher. You can't expect, Ferrari performance with a Ford Pinto. And unfortunately, that's many times what happens when I have brand new, never been in the marketplace, never experienced it at all. They come to me and they think, okay, well, you're supposed to be the professional, so therefore give me a system that never loses, that never has drawdown, and I'm always going to be right, and I'm not going to be tricked into doing something and manipulated and have my stop loss hit. I'm not that guy. I'm looking for them too. I'm out there looking for them. They don't exist, folks. I mean, you're going to have to be comfortable with uncertainty. You need to embrace that. That's what trading is. This lifestyle, because that's what this is. I don't call it a career. I call it a lifestyle. You have to embrace that. And it's fun. It's fun. It's like treasure hunting. And if you sit down in front of these charts and you don't feel that passion about being on a treasure hunt, you have the potential to do something extremely difficult. But if you follow the rules of a well-sounded and formulated approach that manages impeccably the risks, this is really fun. It's really fun.